May all behaviors, whether they are appropriate or not in this physical world and samsara, whether it's considered as good or not good, or even neutral, such behaviors related towards one another among all beings, among samsara, among all realms of existence, or towards the grace of the Buddhas, the grace of the great perfections, or towards the grace of the Triple Gem. May all cases of karma of all beings, from each of the great hell realms, from each of the Brahma, the highest heaven realms, in each samsara's realms of existing, in the universes and in the infinite universes, existing in each country, homelands, places, and locations of which there exist samsara's realms of existence. May all karma be forgiven altogether. Everything is forgiven. Ahosi, ahosi, ahosi. May all groups of beings in all realms of existence be part of the great compassion of helping ending for samsara. So, may all beings who are determined, fixated with, and possessive with all places, competing with one another to gain, to lose, to have, to be, a grander or whatever. This is only a deluded karma added on the elements, the body and the mind, a deluded karma added on dharma, a deluded karma added on the country and homeland, a deluded karma added on the lifestyle and everything. Whatever that is not aligned with giving up the giving up itself, not aligned with the letting go of the letting go itself, not aligned with Nibbana, not aligned with the brightness of the Buddhas. May all cases be forgiven. Ahosi, ahosi, ahosi. Any negative thoughts towards one another in the past, in whatever ways, in feelings, recalls, emotions, opposing one another, disliking one another, hating one another, betraying one another, taking over the belongings of one another, competing for the better. May all types of mental karma towards one another and everything be forgiven. Ahosi, ahosi, ahosi. Certain things are supposed to think of or not think of means that if such thoughts could create karma towards the graces, towards the highnesses, towards one another, if such thoughts which could create karma and karmic retributions, and they are inappropriate towards the people, then such inappropriate thoughts shouldn't be taken into consideration. May everything be forgiven. Ahosi, ahosi, ahosi. May all graces forgive all beings in all realms of existence forever and ever. We would like also to declare removal and cancellation of all deluded desires and expectations within eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind, sounds, smells, tastes, touches and shapes, sensual pleasures, mental elements, all concepts, traditional values, firm belief in anything, values given to anything, labeling with anything, doctrines, dogmas, the like-minded of the same kind of belief systems. All of these are the conditions, and they cannot help one another to unwind for one another, not helping the unwinding from the unwinding itself. It is something that is egotistic, only for the sake of oneself, one's own people, one's own country, one's own belongings, and all the ownerships. We would like to declare removal and cancellation of all deluded desire and expectation, and all fixation to own anything whatsoever, even this body and mind. All the delusive attachment to this body and mind, to one's own thoughts, which are not one's own thoughts. One's own feelings are not one's own feelings. One's own emotions are not one's own emotions. They are just coming and going, and they never stay. They never stay. Who is owning anything is a delusion, a total delusion. And that is samsara itself, claiming it, delusively claiming it, living in a total illusion, total delusion, total delusive attachment, misleading one another in it. And see what's the result from delusively using opinions and meanings and labeling towards things. Open the eyes and be awakened to what's happening. They're just hurting and harming one another by giving meanings. It starts from there. Labeling and beginning. The first thought is already the beginning, when it's even not holding on to itself, but you hold on to it by yourself, thinking that it's your own thought. And see what happens. War. Can you ask your own thoughts if they want to stay with you? Your own feelings, can they forever stay with you? Are they yours? This is a total misleading and emphasizing on the misleading, encouraging to use knowing and not knowing. Creating karma by that. Assume up knowing, seeing, looking, and misleading by the desire, delusion, and delusive attachment, always being deluded and dominated by this chunk of defilement. Everything is from the letting go of the letting go itself. We have no time to waste any longer. To dwell and maintain and sustain any states of mind, because the habits of that creating samsara itself. It is the grasping. Everything is from that which has nothing to do with grasping or not grasping. Let's scatter this into universes. Proceed with everything simultaneously through this infinite force. Instead of grasping and grasping and grasping, from seeing, from knowing, from looking, trying to know more and encourage one another to know more, creating ego self even more, and become possessive to knowledge, even selling knowledge to one another, having copyright. Let's unlock this karma for samsara altogether. Shift towards giving until the giver dissolved, because giving something that is ungraspable, something that is unattachable, that which is not about anything, something that can brighten out samsara, from the fixation even to the brightness itself, from the fixation even to the light itself. This is not about grasping for the light or the brightness. Everything is from that which has nothing to do with brightening or not. Neither is about light or dark. And constantly scatter the infinite force with everything simultaneously. There is no need to try to solve anything. With the great compassion, looking at the end result and try to solve it doesn't help anything. Instead, one will waste the time to do that, and also will take on the karma from what one is trying to solve. Use the infinite force instead. It leaves no trace. No trace of karma. No trace of desire, delusive attachment and delusion. By using the reminders, the keynote, keywords, to open up and unlock all the doubts and hesitations and the thought that is difficult. Opening beyond opening. Everything is from that which has nothing to do with attachments detachment or non-attachment. Widen out further and further. No focusing on anything particularly. Everything is from that which has nothing to do with relating or not relating, involving or not involving. Continue like this. And all the beings, all the spiritual beings, and everything included will be opened beyond open, all the same, accordingly. Giving samsara something that is beyond grasping or not grasping, samsara will follow accordingly too. Samsara is in crisis and has been like this already for a long time. Because of their desire, delusion, and delusive attachment that misleads one another and encourage one another through knowing. More of knowing, more of knowing, more of knowing, and lost in it, and competing for more. Such a habit and patterns can only create more grasping and misleading in it, so it becomes a cycle, endless cycle. How can we solve anything from the end result? We have to go to the origin. Cut through deluded knowing, not through cutting, but through cutting the cutting itself, and open up towards everything, instead of focusing only within oneself. Deprogramming. Everything is from that which has nothing to do with relating or not relating. All the situations, all the happenings in samsara cannot be considered only what you can see. The karmic force destines each one, each spirit and soul, each mind, not from this life only. Nothing comes out of the blue, and not from this first time. Samsara is entangled by its karmic relationship, which is the grasping itself, the habits of grasping. And this can only be solved at the origin. And the origin is the mind, knowing, acknowledging, through looking, seeing, and knowing, without the add-ons of desire, delusion, and delusive attachment. Realizing that this vessel doesn't own by anyone and has to be proceeded through the essence, the true essence of the infinite force, is unconditional. Boundless, countless, not conditioned by time, nor by anything. Neither is about having the mind or no mind, being empty or not empty, being enlightened or not enlightened, being deluded or not deluded, being attached or detached, or non-attached. Everything is from letting go of the letting go itself. Scatter this infinite force into universes, into samsara, into everything. And this force will only purify all types of karma, balancing out the debt of karma towards one another. Forgiveness needs to be used. To help unlock all karma among one another. Knowing that samsara exists through grasping, through the circling of arising and ceasing. Wanting to have, to be, to get, to gain, to have, to become, to achieve, to attain, worldly and spiritually. That's why there are the realms from the bottom of hell until the highest heaven realms. That's the law of karma. Ahosi for that. So let's don't waste the time. With other things that is not helping unwind from the unwinding itself. And lost in the grasping for the sake of oneself, one's own people, one's own nation, one's own family, one's own society, one's own world, one's own galaxy, one's own universe. extend further than that towards the countless universes and galaxies in the way of giving. Giving that which has no conditions, ungraspable, unattachable, through the great compassion. Then it can truly purify all fixations will be dissolved.